welcome to the CN8 Candlepin Challenge, a production of the International Candlepin Bowling Association and CN8 Sports. Hi again, everybody. John Holt and Dan Murphy back at the Woburn Bowlerdrome. We had a very exciting week one. Gary Carrington, our champ. We'll speak with him in a second, but first to review some new changes this season.
That's right, and if you know the name Helen Fellows, you'll know what one of them is, and that's the audience participation. If you show up for one of our tapings, we're going to draw a name out. You're going to throw one box, your 15 seconds of fame. If you throw a strike, you get the jackpot, which Helen did last week. If you throw a spare, we give you $50. Anything less than that, we give you $1 per pin. So that's changed. And the wardrobe for the bowlers has changed a little bit, but the big thing for the bowlers is bonus money. They get bonus money now for 3 consecutive marks, $50 for each mark after that in concession and within the same game. So they can win a lot of extra cash as well as the weekly prizes.
Gary will step in with us in just a second, but first we say hello to Trina Fernandez standing by with the challengers. Trina.
Thank you, John. Well, it might be a new season, but we've got some familiar faces over here. Sean Baker and John Zappi. Sean, you first. You feeling like you've had enough practice? You've been bowling a lot, you told me.
Yes, yeah. I've been getting ready, and so now it's just time to get it on. That's all.
Excellent. All right, time to get it on. I like that. Short and sweet. And John, you said you've also been on tour and bowling a lot, so you're in your top form. You feeling it?
Yeah, I'm feeling it. I'm throwing the ball good right now, so I'm ready to go. We'll see what happens.
All right. Well, guys, we've got 2 gentlemen over here that are ready to go. Back over to you.
Men, a few words. Thank you, Trina. Gary with us now, looking to repeat 2 weeks in a row. You're a veteran of television bowling shows. What's your approach? Anything special?
Well, I like to come out and put the pressure on right away. That's what I like to do. I know this match coming up, 2 of the best in the game today, so whoever wins out of this match is going to be a tough one, and the next one also.
Looking forward to it. Good luck today.
Thank you.
We're back with the Challengers match right after this on CN8. All set for the start of the Challengers match. And today that is pitting Sean Baker on the left versus John Zappi on the right. A 1-game Challengers match. The format has not changed. Our reigning champ, in this case, Gary Carrington. And we are set to go with John out of Quincy, Massachusetts. John, of course, southpaw, the left-hander. He drops 6. $50 bonuses for 3 marks in a row, and then 50 more for each mark consecutively after that. He will be open, though, to begin. Not a lot of room for error when it's just 1 game to determine who wins that Challengers match.
Yeah, the bowling purist, a lot of the bowlers don't like that one-string roll-off because one-string match because sometimes they don't bring their A game, but they want to have time to figure it out. But that's the beauty of our format. It's the sprint version. You got to bring your A game that first game, and hopefully you'll get into the championship round where there's a 2-game. It's exciting. We've had some of our best matches, really, in that Challengers match.
John just a pin away from a strike. Good opportunity for a spare as the wood clears out in front.
John's been with us numerous times, as has Sean Baker. Ooh, he just was enough to carry that 6-pin.
So the spare for John Zappi in the second. Now it's Sean Baker from Lynn, Mass. 7 go. Leaves the 6, 7, 10.
Piece of wood out in front. He's going to try to use that wood, obviously, to clear out maybe the 6 and 10, have the ball take the 7. Just sliding by that wood.
Our strike challenge audience participation segment will come between games 1 and 2 of the championship match. And just a classic debut last week with Helen Fellows. One ball,
absolutely,
getting the strike for the $100.
That was great. last week's challenger, again from New Hampshire. The New Hampshire contingent is coming down to the tapings. Is Gordon Fogg. So he'll have his shot at that jackpot of $100. Matching spares in the second by both bowlers.
There's a look at Helen. She won last week, and that was just a dramatic moment. She didn't actually know. She turned around, thought she dropped just 9, and then the audience reacted, and I got all 10.
Yeah, she's throwing the kisses to all of you at home and saying, boy, glad you other people weren't here.
Zappy with the strike. Strike on spare. Now he can go for 3 in a row. $50 bonus if he can get a third mark.
All come tumbling forward for that strike on spare. And as John said, chance right away for 3 in a row and a $50 bonus.
Four horsemen right, and then the 7 in the left corner. John, a 128 bowler. Took out just the 3, so no $50 bonus. That was achieved once in week 1 by our reigning champ, Gary Carrington. Did it to finish up, too. 3 marks down the stretch to put away Steve Reno, who was the champ coming in.
Terrific 10 box.
Sean at 130 for his average. Operating now in the third box. With a fill, had a spare in the second.
Got the 7 pin to go, and will the 9 go too? And just the 10 pin left after all said and done.
Consecutive spares, the goal for Sean. See if he can pull it off. No, slides by on the left. To the left again, so it's a 9 box to 36, and John Zappy has the advantage early. .610 and the 247. Couple open boxes, 3 and 4 for Sean, and it's going to put John Zappy in a terrific shape heading into the final 6. It is an 11 pin advantage, in fact, 55 to 44. Two marks for John, spare and a strike. 1 for Sean, spare in the second. Through that opening, so he's still looking at 7 pins.
Just disappointing 4 box. Don't see that very often from these guys. Can happen.
Moves now to box 6. Using lanes 35 and 36 here at the Woburn Bowlerdrome. Terrific Candlepin facility.
John bouncing right back on that head pin. 3, 5, 6, and 10. Oh, leaves the 10. So he'll be open. 5th and 6th frames.
So a chance for Sean to get right back in it, or perhaps even better. See if he can mark and think about taking the lead. Drops 5.
Well, he's not going to get a mark, but he'll certainly cut into the lead because he's opposite that disappointing 4 by John.
So we'll gain 5 and count. Cut the deficit from 11 to 6. Opposite an open here in the 6th.
Almost a strike, leaves the 3-pin.
And the wood, well,
looks like he's got a nice guide on either side. Yeah, there's a good shot of it. Keep it on a lane down the middle there and should convert this.
yes. Key mark for Sean in the 6th. Better than 5 in the fill, and he'll take the lead when he steps back up. On to the 7th for John Zappi. Eight fall down.
3 and 5 left. Looking for his 3rd mark of the match.
Got the kingpin, left 3. $10 up to 78. John last marked back in that 3rd with the strike, and now he's looking at the 2-4-7, 3-6-10, as you say, Dan, spread eagle. This drought of marks is going to catch up with him here in just a bit, likely, when Sean steps in. That is an 8-box. So he's had a 4-box, a 9, a 10, and an 8. Now Baker after the spare in the 6 with a fill in the 7th. That's enough to give him the lead through 6 at least. He's opposite a 10-box in the 7th.
That gives him a 1-pin advantage should the box is completed. Needs a 10 here to keep it at that 1-pin advantage. Let's call it a tie. 78 apiece.
You look at Gary Carrington, the reigning champ, waiting in the wings to take on the winner of the Challengers match. He'll know his opponent in just a few more boxes.
And he goes through, not quite as good as John. He didn't get the spread eagle. He's got the spread eagle plus 1 more in the back, the 8. Wow, so he's going to have, unless he can bail this out, he'll have a disappointing frame.
So John Zappi's going to be just fine.
Let's call it even.
86-86. We'll figure it out over the final 2 boxes.
Well, we just could have had them bowl 2 boxes and call it a day.
Both bowlers under the pace of their average at this rate. See if they can pad the numbers with some marks.
John taking a little extra time this time before he delivers. And looks like it worked. At least that first ball leaves the 3-pin. Which to the right probably won't help him. He's going to have to catch the 3-pin by itself.
Got it. So for the first time since back in the 3rd when he had a strike, a mark for John Zappi in the 9th, and now a huge fill.
Advantage Zappi right now with that mark in the 9th.
Here we go.
Oh, missed the head pin, but he got a decent 8-pin drop.
Earl on the scene for a little assistance. That's not true that the $50 bonus money comes out of Earl's pay for the day, does it?
No.
Where's that money coming from?
Oh, he makes such big bucks. We ought to start taking it. I think he was a little upset that he was upstaged by Helen Fellows last week, you know. A bigger ovation than he usually gets. 1 in the 10 for John. Big mark if he can catch the head pin. He's got it. 2 in a row.
Strong finish from John Zappi.
Clutch mark.
Gonna get an extra ball.
Boy, didn't even bother with that wood. The head pin cleared the wood and cleared out the 10 pin at the same time.
2 marks in a row.
And an 8 again. So
Salvaged that game nicely at 86 through 8 and finishes with 122.
36 pins, the final 2, and you know what that means. John needs 37. Sean needs 37.
He's at 86 too to start.
Yep, it's going to be a difficult one. 1, 2, 4, 6, 10. No wood on the plate to help him. Oh boy. Good effort there. He's going to need a double strike in the final frame.
That ball got into the channel.
It's 28 pins. Double strike 8 to win. Start with 1. This has to be a strike.
No. So John Zappi is going to win it. Sigh of relief. He'll take on Gary Carrington.
Oh, wow.
One more ball for Sean, too, but his total is going to fall short.
He cleared after he cleared out just the 3 pin. He cleans the other 9 up for the spare in the 10th. Gives him 105 plus this ball. Obviously not enough. So John Zappi will take on our champ, Gary Carrington.
112, 10-pin victory for John Zappi. He takes the challengers match, and now he's ready to take on Gary Carrington. That begins next on the CNA Candlepin Challenge. Welcome back. All set for the championship match, game 1. The champ will go first. That is Gary Carrington, was sitting side by side as challenger, John Zappi. You just saw win 122 to 112 over Sean Baker. Gary defeated Steve Reno a week ago to take over the title as a reigning champ. And here we go. Takes out 4. Can't get the kingpin. That is a 10 box to open for Gary. Last time we saw him versus Steve Reno, he was finishing 8, 9, 10 with 3 marks in a row to pick up the 50 bucks and cement that win.
As I said, he's so explosive. He could look like he's struggling, and then all of a sudden, 3 or 4 boxes in a row, he puts marks up. Dangerous bowler.
Told us at the top of the show as he gets a mark that he likes to put the pressure on early versus his opponent. Well, he's done it with a mark in the second. Now it's to John. Home lanes, Colonial Bowl, Weymouth. Good opportunity for a mark of his own to counter that early pressure from Carrington.
Heading by the kingpin. Takes out the 9, but leaves the 5. So it's these legitimate spare leaves you can't afford to miss against the likes of Gary. Of course, you could say that the same with Gary if he misses a few against John Zappi, because you saw what John needed when he needed a mark in the last 2 frames. He got 2 marks and was able to shake loose of Sean Baker. A lot of talent in this match. Pin going down the 1, 7, and 8. The way that wood is angled, the head pin is going toward the 7. Could come off the wall and take the 7 and the 8. Yes, it does.
All 3 go. So matching marks in the second for Carrington and Zappi.
Watch the head pin. Into the 7 and finally the 8.
The fill now for Gary. First of the day for him. Healthy fill of 8.
He's got the 6, 7. He's probably going to try to snap the wood to the right, off the wall, flip the 6, and then all the way across for the 7. Oh! I think Gary thought he had that.
The reaction was priceless. So that's a 10 box. 38 now through 3 for Gary. Six go.
Rocking 5 pin. If that one fell with 2 pieces of wood behind it, might have taken the other 3. He's looking at the 1, 2, 4, and the 5.
Yes. 2 marks for Gary, both on lane 36, boxes 2 and 4.
Just barely touches that head pin. The ball continues through for the 5, and of course the 2 takes out the 4. John Zappi now working on his spare in the second. Just 3. Hanging the ball out to the left.
Gary had a fill of 8. John, 5 less at 3. Nearly recovered enough for the strike. Excuse me, the spare. Instead, looking at the 7. Five-pin deficit, but opposite a mark in the 4th. Between games 1 and 2 of this championship match, we'll have our strike challenge. Zappi nearly with a strike of his own.
Wants that wood to flatten out. Got 3 pieces there, and always scares me when you got 3 pieces of wood. You know where the last piece is headed. This first 2 could go right and left as well. It's not as easy as it looks. There you go.
So without a matching mark, the advantage goes to the reigning champ at this point. His lead's at 5. He'll add to it with his first ball in the 5th. A high single, just a pin shy of 200 for Gary Carrington.
Five fill on the spare. It gives him 53.
And that is 8. 2 marks for Gary, both coming on 36, so another crack on that lane.
Oh. Put that one right in the pocket, leaves himself the 5, 8, and 10, and a piece of wood. He's probably glad it's there. It's not a great piece of wood, but could come off the wall.
6 boxes, 2 marks for Gary.
Chance for John Zappi to climb back in this match, trailing by 10, 2 open frames. A pair of 8s put up by Gary Carrington.
Coming up in just a few minutes, our strike challenge, new this year, audience participation.
Oh! Light hit on the head pin, got good mixing action, came back for the final 3 for his first strike of the match. His first and the first strike of the entire match. Coming back.
Big opportunity for John Zappi, today's challenger.
Oh. 4, 5, 6, 7, 10. Oh boy. I think I'd probably go down toward the 4 and 7. Try to turn that piece of wood. Let's see. That's what John's doing. He was able to throw it in front of the 6-10, but
The fill totals 8.
that'll tie the match up through the 5th frame. Be ahead by 2. Knocks these 2 down, and he is.
Yes, 71 to 69. John Zappi recovered nicely for the 2-pin advantage. Back with more in game 1 right after this on CNA. Back at the Woburn Bowlodrome, the CNA Candlepin Challenge, and Gary Carrington stepping up, finds himself down right now. 2 pins to challenger John Zappi. 6 boxes into game 1, 1 of 2. And in between games, our strike challenge coming up with Gordon Fogg. Opportunity for Gary looking at just the 7. 7 pin away from a spare.
I think Gordon Fogg is off to the side talking to his coach. That's a 9 box. That's slid off the off into the channel, so it'll be a 9. I think Gordon brought his personal trainer with him or something.
That's completely legal.
Sure.
Should be consulting with Helen Fellows, really.
Right. 9 and 10 pins left for Gary Carrington, and all kinds of dead wood out in front. So again, 2 open frames for John Zappi to work on. Increase that 2-pin advantage he has going into that second game. 88 through 8 for Gary. No threat for bonus money so far from these 2 guys.
It's $50 if you can get 3 marks in a row, and then 50 more for each consecutive mark after that within the same game. Oh, here's a big one. Strike in the 7th.
It's the second strike in a row on lane 35. No doubt about that one. Picture perfect with that strike in the 7th. Moves over to lane 36, looking for the double strike or at least another mark.
Lefty's on the head pin. Leaves the 2, 4, 7. A little trickier for a southpaw.
Nope. Can't tie them together. This increases lead by 9 more, though.
So the lead is at 10, 98-88. Final two boxes, game one now for Gary.
137 left for Gary. Really needs to make one of these to break the ice, get him back on track with those marks.
Leaves the 3 and the 7. Had spares in the second and the fourth, open since. Five go, 5 stay up. 4 horsemen left, and then the 9 also in that back row.
Oh, that close. 7-pin stays, so a good effort there on the spare, but 7-pin preventive. That's Mark, and he gets the 10 for 107. So again, wide open for John Zappi. Of course, last 2 times on lane 35, he threw strikes.
We've got a second game to come in the championship match, but these two boxes could really define John Zappi's chances. Takes out 6.
2, 4, 5, and 7.
Opposite a 9 in the 9th. We're going to maintain that 10-pin advantage. In fact, he'll gain 1, up to 11, 108-97, and again, an open frame. 10 box from Carrington in the 10th.
11 pins is nothing with the likes of Gary Carrington, so he would love to put another mark up, push that lead up closer to the 20 pins. Well, he'll have a shot at one.
The 1, the 10.
Go after the head pin. Hopefully the ball or the head pin will take out the 10. Oh,
Got it.
nicely done.
Get an extra ball, too. 36 has been good to him.
There's the
Couple
red-
strikes and a spare.
Head pin just going by the 10 pin on the left, but it was enough to just clip it. Remember that shot. That was a difficult spare. Of course, now, as John said, the bonus ball and increasing his lead by this many.
By 8 more. On 36, make it 2 spares and 2 strikes. Getting all his marks on that lane. Up by some 19. Leading the champ, 126-107, game 2. Coming up, also, the strike challenge next.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back. I'm here with our lucky audience member, Gordon Fogg. Gordon, where are you from?
Bow, New Hampshire.
Bow, New Hampshire. Well, let's see if you can be as lucky as Helen. You feeling lucky?
I think I am, yes.
All right. Go get him.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Knock him dead.
Oh, Gordon.
Gordon Fogg.
Oh, look at it. He's tossing that bowling ball around. He looks like a veteran up there. 3 steps.
Got 2.
Bring back Helen.
$2 in his bank account right now. Spare gets him $50.
Oh.
$2 in his bank account right now.
It'll be $1 a pin. He's up to 2. Come on, Gordon.
Another pin or 2, he can get a gallon of gas. Get himself home.
Look at that. Oh, 2, 4, 6, $4.
Gordon Fogg. Well done. Nice to have you, Gordon.
Oh, well.
$4.
He left me, guys. Talk to you later.
And we're back to the championship match as we start game 2. You too can participate. Just show up to a taping, enter our drawing, and be part of the Strike Challenge. New way for you to get involved with the show this season. John Zappi as the challenger going first. He'll drop 9.
Nine-pin. Tough piece of wood out in front, though. If it's enough to carry that 9 or not.
Open in the first.
That's a couple marks that people at home probably were thinking, oh, if he just hits that wood, it's going to go. But it's not as easy sometimes. And
bit of an optical illusion unless you see it from a different angle.
Right. Moves over to lane 36.
That's where he had a lot of success in game 1. 2 spares, 2 strikes on 36 to build that 19 pin advantage.
Drop 7 here with a 1-2-4 left for him. What you want to do, Gary Carrington, is put the pressure right on him. Trailing by, or leading by 19. Gary trailing by that many. Well, it's going to leave him 2 open frames.
$9 and a $10. 19 total. Game 2 early on for John. Gary from Plastow.
Just the 3-pin. You wonder how that can happen. Ooh, fouls with the 9-pin, so he's got the half Worcester now, but only 1 ball left.
It's halfway to Gordon Fogg, too.
That's right.
And that is a 7, Gary. Opposite another open box.
He's going to get the strike.
That's all 10. A little more like what we expect from an accomplished guy like Gary Carrington.
Little action there. The 6-pin, or actually the 3, then the 6. Now you think with the first box, Gary, well, it looks like he's a little off, but he makes the adjustments and comes back with marks.
Look at the 6, the 9, and the 10 is John Zappi.
Again, wood out in front, this time a single piece, but you can see how far it is in front. A lot can happen between there when it contacts that 6-pin.
Got it, though. Spare for John in the 3rd. Still looking to give away the $50. 3 marks in a row.
John realizes, I got to put marks up. I'm going to protect this 19-pin advantage, which now is 21 minus that fill in the strike. He's got to put marks up for Gary to think about. Off target, gets 5. 1, 3, and 9, and then, of course, the 4, 7 in the left-hand corner. Piece of wood that should help him. Yes, it does. 2 in a row.
Stay tuned for that run at the $50 bonus when he steps up again.
Splits the 1 and the 3. Everything goes, and finally, the 9-pin.
Following the strike in the 2nd, it's Gary Carrington now, box 3. Three, 6 on the right, 4, 7. Trying to split those
the 3 and the 6. Oh, that close to making it.
Total fill of 9.
He's got 2 of those 19 pins back, trails by 17. However, he's got to match the mark in the 4th by John Zappi. And he's got a big chance to do that. 5-pin, piece of wood frozen behind it, so should help if he misses it just a little bit right or left. The wood probably will kick forward. Doesn't make any difference. He's right on it.
Dead on to match the mark. At the moment, it's a 17-pin advantage for Zappi. Both bowlers spares in the 4th. Yes, strike on spare. 3 in a row and the $50.
You know, John's been leaving the ball out to the left. That one looked like he got a little lower at delivery, a little more oomph behind it. Got that arm out in front of him, and boy, it was solid in the 1-3 pocket. And of course, you saw the result.
Get an additional 50 now if he can make it 4 in a row. Spare strike, and no.
189, spread eagle plus the 5-pin. No, if you're going to shoot at the spread eagle, I'd rather have the 5-pin in there, because if you undercut it or something, could contact the 5 and then jump everything right or left. There you go. 8-pin drop. Bonus streak stops at just 3, $50. More important, it's put a little more pressure on Gary and a few less boxes for him to work on.
Now it's Carrington opposite that strike in the 5th.
It wouldn't surprise me if he threw his own strike right here.
Filling up his spare.
There you go.
You called it, Dan Murphy. Care to share the lottery numbers tonight with us?
1-2 pocket, but nice and solid. It usually isn't the pocket for a right-handed bowler, but his ball is going more or less straight down the lane. And he goes through the middle like John did. Ooh, disappointing 5 fill. John weathered that storm pretty well.
He's going to put the lead right now at some 23 pins. 4 boxes to go. We step aside. Back with the finish on CN8 after this. Back for the finish. Final 4 boxes. John Zappi at the moment in a position to knock off the champ. Up by 23 pins. Both bowlers were open in the 6th. Zappi was ahead by 19 after game 1. He's added 4 more to that total.
Wants the 10-pin to go, and it does. Leaves himself the 2-pin.
There it is, spare in the 7th, key mark.
All of a sudden, John seems to be a lot more comfortable up there delivering that ball than he was earlier in the match.
Marks in 4 of his last 5. 3, 4, 5, and 7. Fill of 6.
Both bowlers haven't figured 36 out, though. Hitting the head pin, but they're both going flush on the head pin and not giving him a real good spare leaves. 2, 4, 6, 10 left for John. Well, I'm sure he would want 2 marks, but he's probably glad he put at least 1 up. Have to take a look at that replay on that last ball, whether or not that left the lane on those final 2 frames. If we could get a replay of that, look like a 10 box, but no, they're saying no in the truck, so it's an 8 box.
We won't get credit for those last 2. It's an 8 instead of a 10. The total is 106. Next week, Tim Goodwin and Ken Spicone Jr., the challengers.
Oh boy, he's done that a couple times today.
Not the time for that.
No. Oh, again. Oh boy. Oh boy.
So now Gary is really in a hole.
He really is. It's one of the only 3 frames remaining. Driving by 30, so he's got to think strikes.
Well,
almost.
9 of 10. With a spare in the 8th. The lead is at 35 minus Gary's next ball, so that's quite a spread. Box 9 for the challenger.
John buries it in the 1-2 this time, leaves himself to 6-10. And that will probably drives another nail into the coffin here with a spare in the 9th at 116 plus a ball.
9 boxes, 5 marks in game 2 for John. Here's his fill. Just a couple.
Will we get it? Converts the half-wister for another mark. And if he can throw a strike, we'll give him 50 bucks. I won't. Earl will. Earl will write out a personal check. Here you see the replay of that. Kicking out the 4 and then finally the 10. So this is a $50 ball. It's pretty good. Not quite.
1-3-6 in this game, had 1-2-6 in the first one. Total of 162. Excuse me, 262. Earl on the scene as the wood comes rolling forward. As smooth as ever. Gary looking for the spare, gets it. Takes out 9 there, so showing a little life, but
Another 9-pin drop. Too little, too late, though.
not going to be enough.
No. A couple of those 9-pin drops were strikes we might be talking, but
It's going to get one more ball here.
make it a lot closer than it is, but John Zappi will be our champ.
And 8 more. 9 more. 10 more.
Oh, wow, and we're going to give him $100 too, with $50 for 3 in a row, and that strike with another 50.
Well done. We're back to wrap it up after this. Welcome back. There's a new champ, John Zappi, beating Gary Carrington.
That's right. We're trying to look for somebody who can win 2 in a row, just like last year. Kind of tough to do.
We'll find out if it happens next week. We'll see you then on the CN8 Candlepin Challenge.